Today we will learn the basic things related to Power BI tool from Microsoft. So before we start, if you are interested to know me more and if you are interested to know what kind of session that I'm offering, just follow me on Twitter, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and also I have my own group in Meetup. I call it Sharing is Caring. So I'm posting a lot of sessions there. Feel free to follow me and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Okay, so what we will learn today, before we jump to the outline of our session today, let us take this opportunity and let us do this observation exercise together. So I want to take you on this observation exercise actually, and this exercise actually was published by a professor from Harvard, and he posted on a blog as a simple picture like this that we have it here, where he asked the people to count the number of squares. So I will do the same here. I would like to encourage you to look at the picture, see how many squares do we have, and to try to count it by yourself. So after this, and after a few seconds, I will give you all the answers for this picture. So let us move to that. I'm going to use this exercise to explain how are we going to look into the things in Power BI. And we want to separate that into 3 levels actually. So at the first, when you look at the picture as a first look, you will be able to count, which is very obvious, you will be able to count 16 squares, right? But when you start as a looking or going through a systematic view of the structure, you will start to see here and may find there are other ways to count the squares here, right? There are other configurations. There are other configurations such as 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4. So if you count the sum of this configuration, you will end up by having 30 squares. But if you have your own vision and you are thinking outside of the box, which is it's required to think outside of the box and a bit of a creativity to look at this structure, and there are other actually 60 squares. 30 are from that marked with the blue, and the 30 that marked with the white frames actually. So what's the power of this observation, and what's the purpose of having this exercise with you actually? I want to show you through this exercise is that you don't want to miss something which is is already right in front of you because you stopped looking too soon to it. So now that I need you to understand that you need to look further into Power BI. Now let us try to see what kind of things that we have it in Power BI. Let us look more deeply in Power BI. What we will learn today, what's Power BI and why do we need Power BI. Also, we will look at the Power BI features and the flow process that we have it. We will see what kind of main building blocks we have it within Power BI. And for sure, I will do with you a live demo to explain to you how we can look at the main building blocks within Power BI. So today it's the main basic things for Power BI, so we'll be able to learn more and more in upcoming session. Okay, so what's Power BI? Power BI actually it's a cloud-based business analysis tool that we have it from Microsoft. It's a visualization tool that will help you to visualize your own data. And while we are doing a live demo, you will be able to learn more and more about Power BI and what kind of functionality do we have it. And actually, we can use the data sets to to import our different data source within Power BI. And by importing a different data source, you will be able to visualize your data in your own way by selecting a custom visualization. So Power BI, from the name itself, it's really powerful tool, will help you to customize your own report. But we have actually 3 platforms, which is I would like to highlight it here. We have Power BI Desktop, and also we have a Power BI service. Also, we have a Power BI mobile. So what's the difference between the three Power platforms that we have at Power BI platforms? I will go through it while we are moving to the process or the flow of the process. I will explain more about it and when to use what. So Power BI actually, it's not the replacement of Excel. A lot of people, they are thinking that, or they are thinking that the Excel or the Power BI will replace the Excel as a whole functionality. Actually, no. Power BI actually, it's not only to edit your data. It's more than this. Power BI, it's not a pivot table, not the similar scenario. We have the same functionality, but it's not only this. Power BI, it's not just static reporting or charting. So it's not only to get your chart or to visualize your chart. You can do a lot of things actually. And while we are practicing, you will be able to see what kind of things that I am able to do within Power BI. And the most important point, that report is not dashboard. Most of the people, they are confusing between a report and dashboard and what's the difference, and they thought that report is equal dashboard or dashboard is equal report, which is not. So there is really a difference between report and dashboard. So let us move. Okay, let us see now what's the difference between Excel and Power BI and how we can see the difference between each two. So actually Excel, that most of the people, they are using Excel, and we can write actually a data and calculate them and create a lot of a chart within Excel. And Excel actually, it's connected to any, you cannot connect to a several data sources. So you just need to open your Excel and do your calculation. You are not able to connect to any online app or external file. But with Power BI, actually, you cannot write your data immediately. You can write a few tables, but still there is a limitation. But it's like connected to other data. So you are importing your data from Excel, SQL, other data sources that we have that already available within Power BI. And as we mentioned, it's downloaded from other sources. So the data, it's not written there, it's downloaded from other sources. What else? With Excel, actually, it's very quick. Even for the beginner, they can create a table in a few minutes. It's straightforward to use. Power BI, actually, it's not difficult, but you need to learn the basic as a beginner to be able to build your own report or dashboard. But it's really easy to use. And actually, it's really easy to share whatever you have as a dashboard or report with your colleague. It's just you need to share with them the link on powerbi.com, which is the online service. You don't need to send the whole file with your team to check the update. And as we mentioned, the reports are available on portal online, so everybody, they have an access to the report. They will be able to view it, and they will be able to see the updated version at the same time. Actually, Excel, you can build your pivot tables, you can build your charts, you can do a little effort and a quick result. Power BI, actually, it's really powerful things that once you build your reports or dashboard for the first time, you don't need to worry about how you're gonna refresh your data, especially if you are a live connection. So if you are connected to your SQL or other data as a live connection, you just need to put a schedule refresh, and based on a schedule, your data will be automatically refreshed. So we have a functionality, auto refresh will be update and get the data from the source itself. You don't need to do it by yourself manually, and this is the really powerful functionality that we have it on Power BI. So the question is here, why do we need to choose Power BI to build our reports, dashboard? Why it's the better tool to use it? So Power BI, actually, it's, as we mentioned, it's a real-time analysis. It means you can have a direct connection to your data source immediately. You can build your report from this step immediately, and at the same time you can get the updated or the latest data that you have it and refreshing from your data source. So that's why it's a real-time analysis. Also with Power BI, you can use custom visualization. You can select whatever you have in your Power BI from the custom visualization and represent your data in your own way. Also, you can get your data very quick. It means after I build my dashboard, what if I have a meeting and someone is asking me about a specific number? Do I need to do the calculation manually, go and check my emails and check my Excel? If you have your own report or if you have your own dashboard, you don't need to do this. It's very quick. Just open your report, search for the specific item that they asked you, and from there you will be able to get the number very, very quick. Also, with Power BI, you will be able to connect your data, live connection or non-live connection. So it's up to you at the end. Maybe you want to use an Excel, so you can import your Excel to Power BI. Maybe you want to use an online data source by using analysis services that we have it there and connect it as a live connection. You will be able to use it, and there is a data gateways actually available to do the refreshing and all this stuff. As we mentioned, you can connect to your SQL, analysis services, Microsoft Excel, so several data sources at the same time. And there is no issue to connect several data sources at the same time within one file. Okay, now let us go through the most top 8 features that we have it within Power BI. And actually we have more than 8 features, we have a lot of features, but let me highlight the most important things for me. So first, we have, as I mentioned, we have a lot of attractive visualization, and while we are doing the live demo, I will go through it and I will show you how you can select your visualization. What if you want to add more visualization? Is it possible to add more? So we will go through all these steps. Also, we have a functionality, we call it get data. It means go and select what kind of data source that you want to build your report and dashboard. And from there, you will be able to see different data sources that approved from Power BI to be linked to your file. And also we have data sets filtration. So what do you mean by data sets? As I mentioned, within Power BI, you are able to connect several data sources together. It means, what if I have Excel? What if I have SQL and I have another file as a Excel? I want to connect everything within one file, and from there I want to build my visualization by building a relationship. So whatever you have here, we call it data set. Here you have 3 different types of data sources, and you combine it within one file. It means data sets. So this is the meaning of data sets. Also, you can build your own dashboard. So let me highlight something here. What's the difference between dashboards and report? So reports, actually, it's once you open your Power BI, which is, we will do it shortly, you will be able to see page number 1, and you can add page number 2, page number 3, page number 4. So you can add as much as you want pages, and each page we call it report. And for each page, maybe you want to add a specific visualization, it's not synchronized with the second page. So for each page we can call it report, and this is the report. So dashboard, what if I want to pin a specific visual from page 1, or I want to take a specific visual from page 1, page 3, page 5, and put it within one page as a summary, and from there I would like to publish it. So the one page that you pin each visualization, we call it dashboards. Okay, and don't worry, we have a specific session about how we can publish our dashboard, and through this session we will go in more details how we can share our dashboard, how we can publish our dashboard, how we can create our dashboard. Okay, what do we have also? We have a flexible tiles. So what do we mean by tiles and how we can use it? So each visual, we have it in Power BI, we call it as a tile, and this one actually will help me to do a lot of things. You will understand it while we are doing and practice more and more. Also, we have a navigation pane which will help you to move from data sets to relationship also to the report page. So it's really easy to use, and you can, once you open your Power BI, you are able to see each tab, and from each tab you can move very easily between each location or each section. We have something we call it within Power BI as a data relationships. What do you mean by data relationships? As I mentioned, maybe within your file you have a specific scenario that you have 4 data sources and you want to build a report, and you have for each data source you have a specific information that not available on other sources, but you have a key column or the unique column that within all data sources. So from there you need to understand your data and how you can build a relationship to read the other data or the other columns that you have it from other data sources. So the relationship, actually there is a different type of relationship. We have one-to-one, many-to-one, many-to-many, one-to-many. So you need to be very clear about it and what's the difference between each relationship, and you need to know when to use what, because sometimes if you pick the wrong relationship between the tables, you will end up by having a duplication numbers. So don't worry, I have also a specific session about the relationships and how we can understand more about it. I totally understand that maybe you don't have any background related to the data relationships as an IT background, so I will explain it to you on an upcoming session in easiest way, so you will be able to understand when to use what and how to use it, because it's very important actually. Also, we have something we call it Q&A, question box within Power BI. So what if I would like to get a specific number, or if I have a question? So you can click on a Q&A, type your question based on your data sources. The Power BI will be smart enough to detect the visualization and represent and answer your question as a visual. So this is the feature is really cool, and you can use it as a beginner actually. Okay, before we jump here, okay, cool. You remember when I mentioned to you that we have several platform for Power BI? I mentioned that we have Power BI Desktop, we have Power BI Service, and also I mentioned that we have Power BI for mobile. So if we look at here, Power BI Desktop, first step for you to be able to build your own dashboard or report, you need to understand what kind of data sources that I will work on it. From there, you need to connect your data source to your Power BI Desktop. You need to install Power BI Desktop to be able to build your data source. Maybe your data source, it's online data sources, maybe it's Excel. So you need to understand what kind of data sources you need to add it to your file, what kind of methodology that I need to connect to my Power BI. Maybe I need to import my data, live connection, or maybe direct query. So there is a different types, and for each type there is a specific data source that you can use it, which is we will cover it on upcoming session. So Power BI Desktop will help you to build your own reports and dashboard and all this stuff. And after you finish from everything, what if I want to share it with my team? Do I need to share Power BI Desktop file with my team? No. There is a button, we call it publish, so you can publish your dashboard or report to the cloud. And once you click on publish, it will go to Power BI service. So if you are using a specific like data source that need data gateways, so you need to install the data gateways in your machine. Otherwise, you can publish it immediately to Power BI service. From there, once you publish it and once you share the link with your colleague, they will be able to view it maybe from their laptop, their phones, maybe from their tablets, anywhere. If they have the link, they will be able to view it from any places they want to see their dashboard, because it will be like a link. So here I covered with you the main 3 Power BI platforms and what's the difference in easiest way and when to use what. But while we are doing all these together as a practice or as a live demo, you will understand more about how we can use each part. Okay, let us move. The question is here, who can use the Power BI? Actually everyone. Me, you, everyone can use Power BI. So the business user, the IT professionals, the analytics, actually the developers, uh, different people. Even the people they don't have any IT background, they are able to use it. So it's really an easy tool to learn, but at the same time you need to practice, so to make sure that you are learning in a good way, and also to make sure that you are learning the basic things. So if you learn the basic things as a first step for you, you will be able to learn a lot of things very quick. Okay, now let us share with you what's the main building blocks. And here really I would like from you to take a screenshot, look at it, save it, because it's very important tip for everything. And if you understand each block, you will be able to understand the most important part of Power BI. We have several blocks within Power BI. We have a visualization, we have a data set, we have a reports, also we have dashboards, and we have tiles within Power BI. Okay, now let us take the live demo together, and let me open the Power BI desktop with you and share with you the main building blocks, and let us have a look at it to see what kind of things that we can do with Power BI. Today, as I mentioned, it's the first session of Power BI. So if you are a beginner, if you don't have any idea about Power BI, this series of sessions will help you to understand the basic or the beginner level of Power BI. Today, the first session of the main basic things of Power BI. On upcoming session, we will learn more about data visualization. We will learn more about the relationships, also how we can publish our dashboards or reports. So all these sessions, if you are interested, just make sure to register and subscribe on our meetup group to be able to learn more and more. So now let us move to the live demo part, and we will learn a lot of things now. So once you open your Power BI, the first thing that you will be able to see here is the empty page. There is nothing. So let us look at it in more details. So what we can call this page, you will be able to see here like page number 1, and if you want to add more pages, you are able to click here and you will be able to add more pages from there. So for each page we can call it as a report. So each page, it means one report. So here we have 3 reports within this Power BI file. Okay, first step, after you install your Power BI desktop, you need to think about your data source. What kind of data sources that you want to add it here, or what kind of data sources that you want to import it to your Power BI file. So, and from where should I import my data? First, from there, you can go to the home and click on get data and click in more. So because you don't have any idea what kind of data sources that I'm able to connect to my Power BI. So from there, after you click get data, another window will open to you and will show you a different types of data. So we have file, database, Power Platform, Azure, online services, and other. So either you search by typing here the data source name, or you can check all the data sources that we have here. So in our scenario today, we will import Excel file here. So as I mentioned, there is a different way of connect our data source. So from get data, which is the main tip, but in the future there is a different type of connect your data, like import, like live connection, direct query. So we have a specific session about it, which is I will explain it in more details, when to use what and how to use it. So here in our example today, we will select Excel as a main data sources for our scenario, and let us click on connect. And from there you need to search about the file that you have it and you want to connect it to your Power BI. For example, here I have this file, let me add it. Okay, cool. So now we are connecting, or we are importing our Excel file to our Power BI. So now we have all the tables that we have it on Excel here. So it's up to you. Either you add all the tables that you have it from your Excel to your Power BI, or you can select only the one that you want to work on it. So for example, here I would like to select everything, and here you have two options, either load and or transform data. So what's the difference between load and transform data? Load, it means already I'm ready to load my data sources and load all my tables to my Power BI file. There is no change on my data sources. I don't want to delete any column. There is nothing to change. So I'm ready. So you just need to click on load. But what if I want to change a specific things on my data sources? For example, here on event or country, I would like to delete two columns, or I would like to change the column's name. How can I do it? But I don't want to go back to the Excel or the original file that I have it on my desktop. Is it possible to do it within Power BI? Actually, yes, you can do it very easily by using transform data, but whatever you are changing from your Power BI file will not be impact, or it will not reflect back to your original data sources. It means whatever you are changing from your Power BI, if you open your original data source, will be nothing. Everything will be the same as it is. So let's now click on load and see what will happen. So now I'm loading my data. It depends on the size of your data. Sometimes it will take time, and it depends on the connection. So here we have, like, it's not a huge data, so that's why it will be very quick. And the powerful things with Power BI, while you are loading your data, if you face or if there is any error, you will get a message that there is something error in this table. Go and change it, or delete, or remove this error. Okay, cool. Now I import all my tables. How can I find my tables? Where is my data sources? From where can I get it? Actually, after you import your data, you will be able to see it under this section, the field section. So each table here represents the table that you have it on your original source. And if you click on it here, you will be able to see the columns. So this one, each one, it means the column that you have it under this table. Okay, cool. Now, let me ask you one question. What if I want to change, for example, here, event ID? I would like to make it as a number, or I would like to make it as a text, not number, because here I had the submission sample, which is I don't want to see it. So what if I want to make it as a text? Is it possible to do it? But I don't want to go back to my Excel. I want to do it immediately from Power BI. You can do it very easy. So if you click here in home, transform data, you remember the step that we saw it at the first step. After we get our data, we have a load and transform data. So you have two options. Either you can edit your data from the first step, or you can do it later, because sometimes you forget something and you want to add more or delete something or do some modification. So you can do it at any time by clicking here transform data. So after you click on transform data, what you will be able to see here, you will be able to see each table. So you need to click on each table and check whatever you want to do the modification based on this one. For example, here, event table. I would like to change the event ID from number to text. How can I do this? Right click, and here you can remove other columns, you can duplicate, you can add a column from example, you can do a lot of things. So the purpose of our meeting today to show you the basic things. We will not go in more details about transform data, because we have a specific session about it, which is the upcoming session on data visualization session. We will go in more details about how we clean up our data and how we can represent it. Okay, so now the question is, how can I change it, this column, from number to be as a text? As simple as from here you will be able to see change type, and here it's a whole number. I don't want to see it as a whole because if I look at the table, it will show me the sum of the numbers, which is I don't want to see it. ID, it means it's a unique number, it's not a summation of the number, or I'm not looking for a total. So that's why I would like to make it as a text from here. And it will show you, like, if you change this column will impact the whole things that you have it, and all the visualization if you have any visualization. So replace the current, and you have two options: either you add a new column as a text, or you can replace this one. And now we have it as a text, and you will be able to see it from here. The type already changed, or you can click on this icon, and from there you can change it from the one that we have it. And actually you can do more and more. For example, if I want to delete this one, right click, remove. The question is here, I delete one column, I change some columns, I modify some columns. So do you think that whatever I'm doing here will be reflected back to my original data source? No, as we mentioned, it will not be reflected our data sources. So whatever we are doing here, the original data source will be the same. Okay, what if I don't want to do or I don't want to remove the column that I already removed it? I would like to do or re-undo the step that I do it before. So how can I do this? As simple as any step that you are applying here to your specific table within transform data, you will be able to remove it from here. For example, here, if I check here, it shows me the last column that I remove it. So if I click here, it will return back. So this is the powerful things with Power BI. You don't need to go to your original data source to do any modification. You don't need to go there to add any new column. But be careful, whatever you are adding to your original data source, and if you have a live connection, or even if you are importing your data and while you are doing a schedule refresh or you are refreshing your data, it will be reflecting back here. So if you are adding any new things to your data source, which is the original one, will be reflected back to your Power BI file. But if I'm adding or changing anything that I have it on my Power BI, it will not reflect the original data source. This is very important, and you need to understand it, because most of the people, they are confusing about why I have this table here but I don't have it on my original data source. So cool. So what we can do within transform data, as I mentioned, we can change, clean up our data source, delete, remove, do some modification, change the data type, a lot of things actually, and more and more. And as I mentioned, we have a specific session about it. We will learn more about it. Okay, now let us move to the next step. Let me, after you do all the modification and everything is fine and working good, what you need to do, you need to close it and apply it, because whatever you are having here on transform data, you want to reflect it back to this page. Okay, so it will reloading the query that it's happened within transform data to your Power BI file. Cool. Now if we look at the event table, we don't have the sum here anymore because we changed the type. And actually there is an easiest way. If you are looking to change a type, what you can do, you can click on this column, and from here you can don't summarize, you can change from column tools, and it show you like this is a text. I would like to see it as a number, so let me, or true and false text, and so on. So you are able to do it from here as easiest way. Okay, and why I'm mentioning the type or change the type or format of the column, because sometimes while you are using a format or a specific visualization, there is a specific format. It means you cannot add a date. For example, here I have a date, right, which is event date, and it shows me here as a text. But if I'm using a visualization that having a date and I have my date here column as a text, I will get an error, or it will be a wrong one. So that's why I need to be very careful while I'm using the visualization and the type of my data, because sometimes you will get an error and you will struggling by understanding why I'm getting this error. Cool. So the first step, I need to understand what kind of data source that I have it to add it to my Power BI, and add it by clicking on Get Data, select the correct type, and then add it. And you can add several data type together at the same time and do the cleanup at the same time from transform data. And after you import your data, you are able to see whatever you are having or you are imported from to your Power BI under field section. So from here, the question is here, how can I visualize my data? As we mentioned, Power BI is a visualization tool that you can visualize your data. So how can I visualize my data, and what kind of methodology that I can use to visualize my data? First step, all your visualization that we have available on Power BI is available under visualization section. It means all the chart, everything is, we have it here. But do you think that we have only this type of visualization available on Power BI? Actually no, we have more. And how can I install? From here, you just need to click on the 3 dots, and from there click on Get More Visuals. Once you click on Get More Visuals, actually you are able to see the marketplace for all the visualization that available on Power BI. Okay, so it's based on your scenario, what kind of things that you want to visual, or what kind of format. There is a lot of cool visualization that we have it here, and you can pick whatever you want. For example, if I want to choose this one, just click on Add, and once you add it, a pop-up message will show you that already imported to your visualization section, and you will be able to see it here. Okay? Okay. So now, how can I visualize my data? What kind of methodology that we can follow to visualize my data? Actually, we have 2 ways to visualize our data. First way, either you select or you pick the visual that you want to represent your data. For example, I would like to see my data as this one. Click on it, and once you click on it, there is no data. And here you need to be very careful, because for each visual there is a specific format, and it means whatever you are adding here, maybe it will be different format for another chart. And all these things you will learn it while you are building your report. For example, here the first step to build our visualization, I need to pick a specific one, and from there I can select the data. For example, here I would like to see the value as a summary and the ID as a group, and so on. Let me change it to other visual. I can change it immediately. You need to click on it, and what if I change it to be this one? See, we have another format. It's not the similar way that we have it here. Here we have a group, values, but if I click this one, we have a details, we have value, we have more. So, and how can I change? For example, I don't want to see the count of summary. I would like to see here the number. So I just need to remove it and add it here. But I don't want to see the count. Maybe here it's not a number, that's why it's a text, but you need to change it. So you need to make it as a number, whole number. So that's why I mentioned before, it's very important to understand your data, understand what kind of things. Here I'm getting an error because the data here, it's not a number only, it's a name. It's a name, that's why I'm getting an error. Cool. So this is the first way. Today I will just show you how we can visualize our data, but for the formatting, for all this stuff, we will have it on the second session, which is next Friday. Second methodology to represent our data as a visualization, the opposite way. You can select your data. For example, I would like to see on the visual event category, date, details, ID. So once you select your columns, Power BI is smart enough to detect the correct visualization for you. Sometimes will pick for you as a table, and it depends on what kind of columns that you are adding. But it doesn't mean that you need to use this one. You can change. For example, I would like to use all these columns as maybe as a table. I don't want to see it as any chart. I just wanted to see it as a table. Based on this one, you can change, for example, the sequence. For example, I would like to see the ID, date, then the category, details, and so on. And if you want to do the formatting, you can click here. Okay? So now the question is, what if I want to do any specific format, I would like to add more things to my visualization? How can I do this? If you see here, I removed my mouse from any visual. It means I'm editing the page itself. But if you want to edit or do any modification or any formatting to your visualization, you need to click on the visual, and after you click on it, you will be able to see the data, the formatting, and everything. So if we click here, similar way. So here, as I mentioned, we have two ways to see our visualization. Either we select the visual from the visualization section, then we select the data source that we have it, or the columns. Second, which is the opposite way, either we select the columns, then Power BI will detect the easiest or the correct visual for me, and from there I can change it. Okay. The question here is, what if I want to add within my visual several tables? If we look at here, I'm adding only several columns from one table. But what if I want to add, maybe here I would like to add a summary? I'm getting an error. Do you know why I'm getting this error? Because we don't have any relationship between these tables. It means, that's why I mentioned data relationships is very important to do any visual. Sometimes you are getting an error and you are confusing why I'm getting this error, because there is no relationship actually. Okay, how can I see the relationship? How can I add a relationship? From which place I can do all this stuff? Let me show it to you very quick. And don't worry, we have a specific session about data relationships. So actually from here we call it a report, here we call it a data. You can look at your data as a table without going back to transform data or your original data. Here we have a model, which is the relationship, and you are able to see your tables. If you look at here, there is a relationship which is one to many. Because within Power BI, we have a functionality to do auto detect the relationship. It means Power BI is smart enough to detect the relationship if you make it enabled from the setting. But for example here, why Power BI detect this one as a relationship? Because if we look at it here, we have the same name of the columns, but it doesn't mean there is a really relationship. Sometimes you have two tables, right? And one table contain ID and the second one with ID, but it doesn't mean that there is a relationship or actual relationship. It's just a different numbers but the same name of the column. So that's why sometimes the auto detect relationship, it will not help you and you need to turn it off. Don't worry, all these all these tips, I will cover it on data relationships, which is the third session or first sessions. You need to check my meetup group. So from this place, we are able to build a relationship, and we have also two ways. Either you just select the column, for example, from here and add it here, and by default you will be able to see this relationship. Power BI is smart enough to detect for you the correct relationship, but you need to understand it. Sometimes you are getting a wrong number, duplication number, because you are selecting the wrong type of relationship. But how can I manage a relationship? How can I change the type of relationship? Because we have one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, many-to-many, and there is a totally different type actually. From here, we have manage relationships, and if you click on it, you will be able to see how many active relationships do you have it. And if you don't want to delete, you can just remove this one and it will be not active. You can click on auto detect to see if there is any relationship, and Power BI will be smart enough to detect it. You can add a new by click on a new, rather than doing this one from here. And from here you need to select your tables and select your column, for example this one, and you need to select the type, many to one, one to one, one to many, many to many, and how we can do the filter direction as a cross filter direction. And there is a meaning for this one, which is single import, which is we will cover it later on upcoming session. Okay, and let me close it. Now this one, you remember I make one as inactive, so it's not active at all. It means you will be able to see it similar to this one. It means we have a relationship, but I make it like it's not inactive anymore. Okay, cool. So let us review very quick what we learned today from the live demo here. We learned that first I need to understand my data source, from where I can import my data source. From here, get your data. Also, after you import your data, you can do a cleanup and transform data from clicking here, and you can change a lot of things. And after you import your data, you are able to see your data under field section, your visualization from visualization sections, and you have different way to visualize your data. And if you want to manage your relationship from your data, you are able to do it from here. So this is the most important things that you need to learn it for our session today. And let me give you a quick homework. You need to do it before attending the next session, which is you need to install Power BI Desktop. Make sure to install it, because on upcoming session we will do a lot of business scenarios together, because I really would like to do a lot of practice things with you. Otherwise I can do a lot of slides, a lot of presentation, and it's better for you to do the example with me at the same time. It will help you to understand more, and if you have any question you can ask me immediately. So thank you so much. See you on next session.